In this video, I'll show you how to find student submissions, how to grade an activity created with the assignment tool, how to grade a discussion board, and how to grade an activity created with the test tool.
There are two simple ways of finding student work and student submissions. First, I'm going to show you how to use the needs grading queue. Once a student submits something that needs your attention, it automatically goes into needs grading. Under Grade Center, we see needs grading. We go ahead and click that. And needs grading creates a list of everything that needs to be graded and needs your attention. You can use these filters to decide which activities you want to grade, which students you may want to focus on, or even things that are submitted prior to a certain date. To access the student submission, you simply click the user attempt or the student name. So look for the text in blue. We're going to go ahead and click the title, and that's going to bring us to the grading area. Okay, now I'm going to show you that second way to access student submissions. Like I said, the needs grading queue is pretty simple and the most popular way, but you can also access student submissions in the full Grade Center. So once again, go down to Course Management, our Control Panel, Grade Center, Full Grade Center. When something needs to be graded or needs your attention, it's going to have a little yellow dot that has an exclamation point on it. And here we can see two submissions right here. These need to be grading, and you can access it by clicking this edit dot and looking at the attempt. And now we're back on that submission. I'm going to exit to Full Grade Center. And in this case, we have a test. I'm going to click the edit dot, look at the attempt, and we have access to the attempt. So, two ways to access student submissions: needs grading queue or Full Grade Center when there's a yellow dot with an exclamation point. Now, after you've graded work, that is the same way you can access your student submissions after the grade has been populated. So you will be able to grade this, see the score, and still access this attempt the same way. All right, next up, how to grade an assignment. All right, so let's look at how to grade an assignment. So we've gone from the needs grading queue, selected a submission, and this is something created with the assignment tool. So this is that module that students can upload Word docs, PowerPoint presentations, and PDFs. There are a couple different ways that we can give feedback using the assignment tool. So first off, we have across here, we have a couple different tools. This is using what's called Blackboard or BB Annotate. This allows you to work kind of like a Word doc and insert comments and highlight things. So we can highlight text. Let's see, we can also add little comment bubbles over here. I liked this point, and students will be able to see that. So you can annotate the document as well. We do have a full workshop through the CTL where one of our trainers will demonstrate how to fully use Blackboard Annotate. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out that workshop. Over here, we have a couple other options. So we have a rubric. So you can create a rubric or import a rubric and have it click off the points for you. And it does the math. Save rubric. All right, so now we have our score here. The other option, you don't have to use a rubric. You can simply enter the score and type out some feedback. And try to spell this stuff right. There we go. All right, and then the students will be able to access this. There is one other option for providing feedback. You have the annotate, you have the rubric, you have the text box. Whenever you use a rubric, side note, still add some individualized feedback, because rubrics are something that we use as instructors all the time. Students, they see them, but they may not understand them. So explain to them why you selected certain points in certain categories for the rubric as well. Also, it's a chance to get a little personalized memo from you. All right, the last option is a audio or video feedback. We click this box and open the entire editor. And we click this plus. This plus means plus media. We're going to add some media. Insert from webcam. Now, don't worry too much. You can still just do audio. You don't have to do web, but both would probably be good for an online class or a hybrid where maybe talking through some of your feedback would sound a little more pleasant than your average kind of critical grading. So what we do is basically, once you can click here if you want to use your full webcam. I like to use the audio portion, so I'll click here. Gives us a little countdown, and then we can start recording. You have 5 minutes to provide feedback for your students. And at this point, sometimes I'll go through the piece and talk through different points about what I liked, where they can use improvement, and things like that. So then we stop. We can preview it. And if we like it, we save and exit. And if we don't like it, we can delete it and do a new one. Yay. So let's save and exit this one. We insert recording, and then they get a little icon that they can submit. And I'm going to hit submit. All right. And then we're back at our form. So they would click this icon and hear our feedback. The downside to this audio or video feedback component is that it does not create a transcript for ADA compliance. So what you can do is, as you're talking through the submission, pop open Word and use their dictation option. So this way, now it's recording as I'm talking. And I can make small edits if it didn't pick up words correctly. And we can see it's taking down everything I'm saying. So as I'm talking into the submission to give feedback, this is recording my text. And now I'm going to stop. And what I can do is I can maybe copy and I can edit this to make sure it's accurately recorded, copy and paste this or highlights into this text box here. So you're given a transcript as well as that audio file to reinforce feedback. All right. And once you're ready to go, I'm going to get rid of that. Once you're ready to go and submit it to the gradebook for your student to see, you hit submit. And that's it. And now you're done with it. The next thing I'm going to show you how to grade is a discussion board. So there are 3 ways you can grade a discussion board. 2 we've already discussed. You can go to your needs grading queue, all right, and that once again is under Grade Center, needs grading, and any graded discussion board assignment will be in this list. So here we have our discussion forum number 1. We have a post. You can click it, and you have a list of all of the posts the student have made. Unfortunately, this view doesn't show you the conversation. If you want to see how each of these posts interact, you can click the link to the post. So this one, let's click here, and we see a comment, and we see the original post. So this way you can see the conversation. I'm going to use my back button on my browser to bring myself back here. Okay, so you can use the needs grading queue. If you do not see a discussion board that you meant to be graded in this list, check your settings. You may not have added points. By default, discussion boards in Blackboard are not graded. You have to say, yes, I'd like to grade that, and here it can have some points. So that's the first thing to check if you're like, I can't find this item to grade. The other option, once again, is to go to Full Grade Center, Discussion Forum, and here we have that needs grading, grade user attempt, and we see the same text. Okay. The third way is my favorite way of doing it. You can click the tab that's in the side menu or go directly to the forum if you have a link to the forum in your class. This discussion board tab is how I generally see it set up. So we click the forum title, and it gives us a list of all the activity and all of the posts that have been made. Click Grade Discussion Forum. Once again, if you mean to have a graded discussion board and you're not seeing this button, it means you may not have added points to the discussion forum. So you can check your settings on that discussion forum to see what's going on with that. All right. The reason why I like this is I can quickly see how many posts everyone has made. We can see that somehow one version of me is a very, very stellar student. So we can click grade, And what I'll usually do is click off a 0, say something's missing, and then as of 12:14, no posts. And I will usually list my late work policy on this. So the student does have an opportunity to quickly know how they could make up those points. All right, and then I'll hit submit, but it's up to you if you have a late work policy or if you don't have a late work policy for your discussion boards. And then what I'll do is I'll click grade. In the same way as the assignment tool that we already discussed, we look at the work, we can assess it, and we can use the rubric and click off points. Okay. All right, and then we'll have our score up here. All right, and then we can add feedback in the text box. And yes, we even have the option for audio or video feedback for a discussion board. All right, so that is the 3 different ways that you can grade a discussion forum. All right, one more to go. I'll show you how to review tests in just a minute. Okay, so less than a minute, but yeah, well, let's talk about tests. The most popular types of tests that I see instructors use are multiple choice or true or false. One reason is students happen to like those multiple choice tests, and also the system will auto-grade it, so that saves us a lot of time. So a test or a quiz using the test tool in Blackboard or eLearning will actually jump the needs grading queue and go straight to the grade book. It'll release the grade and feedback on the day that you determine in those options. Now, if a test has pieces like an essay question or a short answer question, it's going to come up in the needs grading queue. So you can access it in needs grading. Here we have a test attempt, or also in Full Grade Center as well. Let's go there. Here's our test. Click the dot, attempt, and it's going to bring us back to the test. All right. So right here we have test information, and there's a little drop down. Here's where we can collect some data about the test. And this is great for troubleshooting. If any trouble comes up on the tests, it tells you how many points, how time that's elapsed. So it took 4 minutes out of the 10 minutes, when they started it, when it was submitted, even gives you an access log of when all the tests were started, submitted, and when the questions were. And these are kind of they're not an exact time, but they're very helpful. It does allow you to clear an attempt. I would avoid clearing an attempt because that's still student data. And I'm not a big fan of deleting student data. If your student does have some trouble and you want to allow them to have another attempt, go to test options and create an exception for that student, and you can provide them only an extra attempt. All right, so let's scroll down here and this menu can collapse. All right, there we go. So let's take a look at the test itself. If the answers are correct, you get the points. If the answers are incorrect, you don't get the points. And these are all auto grade, but here we have a short essay and the student provided some text, and you can provide some feedback on their response, what's missing, what's good about it, and you can decide whether it's 10 points, whether it's 5 points, whether they meet those expectations. And then we have some more true or false, automatically graded. And then here is some summary overall. So feedback to learner is feedback to the student. And here we can see feedback is currently not available because there's no text here, but also because it's not a setting. So if you do want students to see feedback, if you do want to use that form, make sure in your test options you're making that available. See to review citations. Yes, because I didn't see a citation in that. So we can go ahead and add a little note to the student. And then this grading notes is just for us. I don't see a lot of faculty using this because it's not to students. So basically, if you have a auto-graded test, it'll automatically just go straight to the grade center. If you have a test that has open-ended questions or things that need your attention, it'll show up in the needs grading queue, and you can assess it, add the points, and provide some feedback into an individual question, or you can give some feedback overall. If you want to give back feedback overall, you can still go back to Full Grade Center. Yep. And pop open that test that's been auto-graded and go down and add feedback to learner. Okay, so you got 100. Great job. All right. And then you hit submit and it is saved. Okay. Here we don't have it because we didn't finish grading this one. But that is how you grade a test. If it's automatically graded, you won't have to do anything. You can maybe pop in and give them a great thumbs up. If it has questions that need your attention, it'll show up in needs grading, and you can provide feedback on an individual question or the test overall. And that is how you do grading. If you have any further questions, you know where to find us.